Howdy champs, my name is Mohit and people, today I'm going to talk about the animation property in CSS3. It's a little complex syntax wise, but let me assure you, practice makes perfect. And even though I'm making a tutorial after a very long time, I've been on holidays, a very big holiday and kind of rusty, but still I think I can actually drive the points smoothly. So it's an ongoing animation, as you can see out here. In fact, let me refresh the browser. Okay, still on the left, on the right, just using the animation property, guys. Nothing else. No jQuery, no JavaScript, no Flash. Right, see the way it actually oscillates, and you know it now it oscillates even wildly. The angle is even more pronounced now. I'm using Bandicam, by the way. Okay, let me just okay, so even wilder now, right? So initially it was swinging kind of gently, then it was a little wilder and got even very wild now. Let me just say Control plus 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 to show you it slightly bigger, so you can actually get a better idea. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh the page again for you. So gentle swinging is gonna get a little more pronounced after a few swings. Here what I've done is I've actually used the animation property comma separated. So basically multiple animations have been used, so it's now a little even more pronounced, guys. It's a never-ending animation. Okay, see the while it's actually getting recorded, the animation may be a little jerky, a little choppy, but that's because it's you know, I'm actually recording it. Otherwise, without the recording software, which may be, you know, kind of a hog on the CPU and the processor and the memory, which I don't have enough of, so that's why it may be a little choppy, but on your system it will be absolutely smooth like butter. Okay, so never ending animation. This is the, guys, the source code. Okay, now if you notice out here, this reddish outline is actually a division 1, division 2 out here, and it's been deliberately put out here only to demonstrate, only to show you the demarcations of the boundaries. So basically letting you know that there are two boundaries. Okay, so this second you know, and also notice as I hover over the pendulum actually freezes. It gets paused, and when I actually hover off, it resumes. You see that? Right. See in CSS3, be it box shadow, be it most of the CSS3 properties can be used as multiple CSS3 properties, like background, multiple background, you know. The same thing I've done out here. I've used multiple animations back to back, and that's something you can actually do. So this is the, you know, the first division, which is hashtag clock, which is actually this bigger rectangle. Okay, so a width of 400, height of 450. Guys, I'm going to separate this video tutorial into two parts. The first part, I'm going to only talk about verbatim and show you the browser preview, which I've actually shown you. In the second part, we'll get our hands dirty, we'll get deep down, and we'll dig the treasure out. We'll see how this is actually performed, how this works, what is the modus operandi. I'll take you from, you know, step by step upwards, and we'll actually understand this thoroughly. But in the first part, it's going to be a bird's eye view, kind of, right? Superficially, we're going to understand this. And for most guys who are actually super intelligent, super smart studs, they should only need the code and a little bit of talking that I'm going to do right now. That's all they need. So this clock, this outer rectangle is you know, this is the code for that, and the HTML is out here. ID, you know, div with an ID of clock inside the body. This is the opening body tag, this is the closing body tag. Okay, so this is the title tag, this is the opening style tags, internal embedded styles that I've used. This is the closing style tag, and this is where I've defined the rule clock: width, height, margin, top and bottom 0 pixels, left and right auto. That actually centers the division. That's why it's actually centered left to right. Right, and border 1px dash red. If I remove the border, you know, the outer dash border is gonna disappear, obviously. This hashtag pendulum is for the bottom pendulum division that freezes. As I said, the pendulum freezes on a hover. Okay, and we'll see why that happens. So a width of 86, a height of 180, margin whatever. Okay, this is the magic property. Get cozy with it, guys. A very powerful property. The animation property in Css3. I actually use the dash webkit dash vendor prefix to support it in Chrome and Safari. I'm using Chrome, and that's why I actually used it. But nowadays, even without using it, you know, in the latest browser versions, still gonna work. Okay, this is the animation name, pendulum 1. This is the wait period. This is the time for which the animation actually runs, and this is the easing. Technically, I'll tell you. Let me explain. Let me go back to, in fact, let me go to W3 Schools and explain the longhand usage of the animation properties. It's actually, you know, it's shorthand for 8 animation properties, the animation property that is. And if you write it in one single line, it's a shorthand. If you write it separately, it's a longhand. So longhand wise, it consists of animation name, animation duration, animation timing function. The wait, which I said, is the animation dash delay. Animation dash iteration count is the number of times the animation is going to play. In our case, it's actually infinite. Animation direction, fill mode, which is a little difficult to understand, play state. Okay, let's see their values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. The default values none, 0 is 0, 1, normal, none running. Very important to know the default values, guys. Okay, this is the browser support, and the animation name is something that you specify, the duration you specify. The timing function is basically the ease that I was talking about, is called the timing function. Technically, you know, it's basically the speed curve of the animation. Maybe a little difficult for you to understand in part 1. I'll explain that very clearly in part 2. Animation delay is before the animation kicks off. If you want a delay, you can push in a delay, optional. Animation iteration count, the number of times the animation should be played. The animation direction can be reverse, can be alternate, reverse, etc. And the fill mode, I'm not going to touch that right now, but something happens before and after the animation. It's got something to do with that. Okay, we'll clearly understand this concept in the second part. Animation play state specifies whether the animation is running or paused. Okay, so a little bit about the animation property. See, this is the shorthand. My move is the name of the animation. 5 seconds the duration. Infinite is the iteration count. Okay, so what they have done is they've used with the vendor prefix dash webkit dash and without it as well. Okay, so this is the code, guys. Okay, if you define the animation, this is animation number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And what I've done is I've actually defined the animation out here. You state the animation separately and you define it separately. So animation 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you state it separately and then you define it. So if I've stated it out here, the name of the animation is pendulum 1. I've defined it separately out here, and this is the syntax. At the rate dash webkit dash keyframes, name of the animation, the first state and the last state. 0% to and from states, guys. Okay, so everything is gonna be coming up in part 2. Please join me then to understand deeply, in depth, in elaborate fashion how the animation property works, and I bet you guys we're gonna smash it. See you then. Bye bye. Peace.